Friends and fellow Floridians, our home, the great state of Florida, has much to be proud of. We're the third most populous state in the union. We have a booming, tourism-driven economy that continues to grow each and every day. We have a world-class environment that shapes our way of life with a diverse patchwork of Floridians who celebrate our differences as strengths, while finding common ground on the need for lower costs with higher pay, easier access to affordable health care, safer communities free from gun violence, a good education for our children, and a love of freedom. Real freedom. By my democratic view, much of this has been put at risk by the divisive agenda of a governor vying to be the most conservative in the nation. Banning books? That's not freedom. Limiting protests against the government? That's not freedom. Claiming to be pro-business, yet attacking Florida's businesses, both big and small? That is not freedom. Forced pregnancy and birth, even in cases of rape and incest? That is not freedom. Floridians struggling with the skyrocketing cost of living? That is not freedom. This, my fellow Floridians, is the true state of our state. The party of supposed limited government has developed a taste for control, and with it, an aversion to accountability. Hiding behind a brand of freedom I don't recognize, while the governor amasses nearly unchecked power. We must all pay attention to what's happening over the next 60 days, because under the current state of affairs, things have already gone both too far and yet not far enough. My fellow Floridians, I'm addressing you as the proud leader of the Florida Senate Democratic Caucus, a strong, diverse group of committed warriors fighting on behalf of everyday working people, but also as a lifelong Floridian and the mother of 2 young kids with grave concerns about the path of our beautiful great state. It's true, Florida's economy is booming, but from the southernmost point to the Gulf shores, working people continue to struggle. When Floridians can't earn a living wage to create their own version of the American dream, it's time to ask ourselves why. When homeowners can't afford property, health, and car insurance with no relief in sight, it's time to ask why. When the elderly can't afford health care and families are having to ration insulin, it's time to ask why. When teachers and first responders can't afford to live in the communities that they serve, it's time to ask why. This is the true state of our state, and Floridians, you deserve better. We deserve real freedom to earn a living wage, to exercise freedom of uncensored speech, written or spoken, to be free from gun violence, to work jobs that allow us to afford the basics and still have some left for savings, and to do something special with and for our kids. That's the Florida that Senate Democrats are fighting for. Our caucus is fighting for Siobhan and Ricky and Christina, for Maxwell and Tracy and Stella, for Onelia and Paisley, for Yoni and Bernardo. Real people in communities across this state who work hard and deserve more. That's why Senator Tina Polsky is fighting to make sure first responders and their families can afford homes to live in. It's why Senator Rouson is fighting to make sure healthy food is not just for the wealthy. It's why Senator Thompson is sounding the alarm on Medicaid, asking why Republicans are turning away federal funds to keep Floridians poor and sick. It's why Senator Jones is leading the fight to keep AP Black history in schools, and why Senator Berman is fighting to raise teacher pay. It's why Senator Davis is fighting for mental health care reform, and it's why Senator Osgood is fighting to help returning citizens find housing. It's why Senator Torres is fighting for our veterans, and it's why Leader-designate Pizzo is fighting for accountability, going the extra mile, suing the governor over illegal and immoral migrant flights. It's also why Senator Stewart is fighting to protect our natural resources, and why Senator Powell continues to fight for clean drinking water for his daughter. And it's why I'm fighting to permanently remove the regressive tax on diapers for infants and adults, because parents shouldn't have to choose between putting gas in the car or buying clean diapers for their baby, or for their own parents, for that matter. Florida Senate Democrats and our Democratic colleagues in the House are here fighting for each and every one of you. We don't fear diversity of opinion, for we stand together, united by one common goal: creating a better, safer, truly freer, and more affordable state for you and your family. A better state of this state, because it's what we all deserve. My friends and fellow Floridians, the time has come to lift up your voices, to speak up and to speak out, because if we don't, things will only get worse. Your elected Democratic leaders will never give up this fight to create a better state for each and every one of us, regardless of age, race, religion, socioeconomic status, or anything else. Because every Floridian and every child deserves a future filled with opportunity. We're fighting for the values of working people, the very backbone of our beautiful great state. We're fighting to bring back free and uncensored speech, because that's how great ideas and how smart policy is made. And we're fighting because we believe that at the end of the day, we're all Floridians, friends, and neighbors first. We must all be allowed to live a truly free, safe, and prosperous life. Over the next 60 days of the legislative session and beyond, we need freedom-loving Floridians everywhere to get engaged and stay engaged, to make our voices heard and to stand up not only for our own rights and freedoms, but for those of our fellow Floridians. Because make no mistake, dangerous attempts to undermine our freedoms as we know them will continue to occur if we don't stand up and fight. The powers that be have come for workers, for equality, for Black history, for public education, for your local government, for access to the courts, for voters, for women and for girls, for survivors of sexual assault, and for everyday people just trying to get by. Make no mistake, we are only as free as the least free among us, and together, we must fight.